Have you ever been in a conversation where someone said all the right things, yet something about them just didn't feel right? You couldn't explain why, but deep down, you knew something was off. Maybe their smile didn't quite reach their eyes. Maybe their voice said yes, but their body screamed no. That invisible tension you sensed, that unspoken truth, wasn't magic. It was psychology. And whether you realized it or not, in that moment, you were reading their mind. Hello, I am Alloy, and welcome to Audiofybooks, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. You see, communication is like an iceberg. What we say out loud, that's just the tip. The real meaning lies beneath the surface, in our gestures, posture, expressions, and tone. And in The Art of Reading Minds, Henrik Fexeus gives us the rare ability to dive beneath that surface, to see what people are really saying, to understand others not with guesswork, but with precision. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers and being able to instantly spot who's nervous, who's confident, who's pretending, and who's genuinely open. Imagine being able to influence conversations, not by force, but through empathy and awareness. That's what this book unlocks, not tricks, not manipulation, but true emotional intelligence. And it starts, not surprisingly, with observation. Henrik invites us to become detectives of human behavior. Every blink, every tilt of the head, every fidget and foot tap, it all means something. But most of us never learn to read the signs. For example, did you know that when someone looks up and to the right while talking, they may be constructing an answer rather than recalling it? Or that folding arms isn't always a sign of defensiveness. It might simply mean they're cold or thinking deeply. That's the first myth Henrik breaks. Body language isn't a fixed language. It's not like one gesture equals one meaning. Instead, it's a fluid system where context is king. A crossed arm from a stranger in a heated argument says something very different than crossed arms during a boring meeting. So the real skill isn't memorizing gestures, it's calibrating. You observe someone in their neutral state and then watch how they deviate from it. That's when the truth reveals itself. Let's take a simple scenario. You're on a date. The other person smiles, nods, and even laughs at your jokes, but something's off. They're slightly leaning away. Their feet point toward the door. They check their phone often. They say they're enjoying themselves, but their body says they want out. Henrik teaches us to listen to that second language, because it's often more honest than words. Now, if reading minds starts with observation, influencing people begins with mirroring. This is one of the most fascinating tools Henrik introduces. The idea is simple. If you subtly mimic someone's posture, breathing rhythm, or even their speech pace, they begin to feel more comfortable with you. Why? Because you're signaling similarity. You're creating a subconscious message that says, I'm like you. You can trust me. But here's the trick. It must be subtle. If you mirror too obviously, it comes off as mocking or insincere. The goal isn't to copy, it's to tune in. It's like adjusting your radio to match their frequency. You don't have to agree with everything they say. You just have to understand where they're coming from. And that brings us to perhaps the heart of this book, empathy. Henrik doesn't teach manipulation. He teaches connection. When you read someone's mind, not through telepathy, but through emotional cues, you can respond in ways that actually serve them. You can offer comfort when they're anxious, space when they're overwhelmed, encouragement when they're unsure. And people remember that. They remember the ones who made them feel seen. Henrik even dives into more advanced techniques, like pacing and leading. This is where you start by matching someone's state, pacing, and then gradually guide them into a different one, leading. Say your friend is anxious before a job interview. Instead of telling them to calm down, which rarely works, You start by matching their energy. Yeah, it's a big deal. I'd be nervous too. That's pacing. Then you gradually shift. But remember that time you nailed that presentation? You've got this. That's leading. And because you started where they were, emotionally, they're more likely to follow you to where you want them to go. It's emotional judo. Not forceful, just guided redirection. But perhaps the most intriguing chapters are where Henrik talks about facial expressions and microbehaviors. He explains how the face is the most expressive part of the body and the hardest to control. That's why real emotions often leak out, even when someone is trying to hide them. A flash of contempt in a smile, a twitch of the eyebrow, a tightness in the jaw. These micro-expressions, sometimes lasting less than half a second, can reveal deep truths. And once you know what to look for, it's hard to unsee them. One of Henrik's stories illustrates this beautifully. He once met a woman who smiled constantly. She said all the right things, kind, warm, pleasant. But something about her bothered him. After a while, he realized her smile never reached her eyes. It was like a mask. One she wore so well it took an expert to see through it. And behind that mask, a world of insecurity and fear. That story sticks with you because how many masks have we missed? But the book isn't just about others. It turns the mirror back on us. Because to read other people's minds, we must first understand our own. Henrik encourages us to become aware of our body language, our tone, our unspoken signals. Are we open or closed off? Are we congruent? Do our words match our posture and eyes? Or are we sending mixed messages? This self-awareness is a game changer. Suddenly, job interviews, negotiations, presentations, they're not just about what we say, they're about how we show up. Henrik gives a great tip here. Before any important interaction, check your body. Are your shoulders tense? Are you breathing shallowly? Are you fidgeting? These signals don't just affect others, they affect you. By changing your body, you can actually change your mind. Stand tall, breathe deeply, open your posture, and you'll feel more confident. And when you feel it, others feel it too. And then, just when you think you've learned it all, Henrik adds one final twist: context. He reminds us that no technique works in isolation. Everything must be filtered through context: cultural, situational, relational. What works in one country might feel rude in another. What works with a friend might seem invasive with a stranger. So the real mastery isn't in memorizing techniques. It's in staying present, observing, listening, adapting. That's the true art of reading minds. Not predicting thoughts like a magician, but sensing emotions like a tuned-in human. Seeing what others miss, hearing what others ignore. Responding with insight, not assumption. It's not about control, it's about connection. And as you begin to use these tools, not to manipulate, but to understand, you'll find something magical happens. People will start opening up to you. They'll say things like, "I don't know why, but I feel like I can talk to you." That's when you know you're no longer just hearing words, you're reading minds. So next time you walk into a room, don't just listen to what's said. Watch the eyes, notice the hands, feel the rhythm of someone's breath. Tune into the silent language that's always being spoken, because in that silence lies everything.